Thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me. The video seems to have frozen on my side, but can you hear me?
I can hear you. The video has some technical issues, but I can hear you. I hope the connection will be established very soon.
I hope so too. Nice to be here, Senator
Okay.
Humble.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun. Yes. Like I said earlier, the show is Breaking Limits, and the show is meant to illustrate the success story of young entrepreneur. With me on the show today is Mr. Oluwasegun Moyosooreoluwa Balogun. Yes, who is Mr. Oluwasegun Moyosooreoluwa Balogun?
I'm a Nigerian. I'm 37. I'll be 38 shortly. I live in Kenya. We, together with my partner, co-founded a business called Asset Lifecycle Management. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Correct. Oh yeah, that's the logo. What you want?
I would have loved the video to come up, but just continue.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the video. Probably let me leave and rejoin again. 1 minute. Probably it will work now. Just hold on.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, we have technical issues with the video, and I would have loved everyone to see Mr. Oluwasegun Moyosooreoluwa. He's an encouragement to the youth. So he will be joining us immediately again.
Can you see me now?
Yes, thank you very much.
So I'm back now. Sorry for the initial disruptions that we had.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, like I said earlier, who is Mr. Oluwasegun Moyosooreoluwa?
Like I said, I'm a Nigerian. I'm 37. I live here in Kenya. Together with my friend and partner Shola, we co-founded a business called Asset Lifecycle Management. The vision of the business essentially is to ensure that nothing goes to waste. I grew up in Nigeria. I moved to Kenya in 2012, and I've been here ever since that time. So yeah, that's a short summary of who I am.
Okay. Yes. Like you said, you're based in Kenya. You're in Nigeria. What motivated? I know you went to Kenya after your education. What motivated that?
Okay. I didn't set out to leave Nigeria to come to Kenya. I was working in Nigeria, and I was transferred here in 2012. I worked for another 3 years with the company that I was transferred with, and I thought that it was time to start out on my own.
You worked for 3 years.
I worked for a total of 8 years with them. 5 years in Nigeria, and another, 5 years in Nigeria and 3 years here. Correct. I joined them in 2008. Came here in 2012. So altogether 8 years.
So you said you worked for 8 years altogether. What is the motivating factor that made you just? It's not easy. Some people will work for 35 years in the government service, and they would want to reduce their age so as to continue to work and work and work. What motivated that?
Honestly, the truth of the matter is I had no issues with the business. In fairness to my employer, I was very well paid. But the time comes in the life of an individual that the pursuit of vision should supersede whatever temporary pleasure or comfort that you have at that particular time. So it was a great working environment. We were contractors to probably the best company in East Africa. I had a lot of friends. I'm seeing some of them joining online right now. Great friends, great individuals. But when 2015 came, I had a conversation with myself. At 33, at what point again would I be able to start to chase, because I knew the journey of business was not going to be easy. So if I don't do it now when I'm younger, at what point will you be able to chase the dream again? So I'm grateful we did that then. It was a good decision. I have no regrets. Yeah.
Yes. Making it in business as a young entrepreneur, how has it been
Right.
like, especially outside the shores of Nigeria?
You have asked two questions. You've asked two different questions.
Okay.
What do you define as making it in business? I think that's, for me, that's relative. A lot of people ascribe business success to how much money they have in the bank. And I think that's where the chunk of our conversation should actually start from. You cannot measure your success, especially in the early years, with how much vacation you've taken or how much money you have or the kind of car that you drive or the kind of place that you live and all of those things. No. And there's actually no business that you can actually, no matter how big, even if it's Amazon or whatever business, the only way you can truly measure your business performance is growth. Where were you last year? Where are you today? Vis-a-vis where you intend to be at the end of your journey, how far have you come along? So for us, over the last 5 years, I think that we have made tremendous progress. Like I said, our vision is to ensure that nothing goes to waste. So it's a two-pronged approach, if you wish. We are invested in telecom, which is telecom was what I started life with. I still do telecom till tomorrow. I have great clients. I tend not to mention clients, but I'm going to make specific mention of Airtel Africa. I'm tremendously grateful to Airtel Kenya, Airtel Gabon, and Airtel DRC. They are my very, very good clients and great clients, as a matter of fact. So we provide asset management services for them in the sense that we go in and check that their assets that they have match their book financial asset records. So basically, there's discrepancies, we help them to trace and make sure that what they actually think they have in terms of financial size is truly what they have on the ground. The other thing that we do, which is in the growth phase now, is agro-allied processing, which for me is actually the real passion. In Africa, we currently now, the population of Africa is 1.2 billion, thereabout people. We have the most arable land on the continent. I have been privileged to do a lot of travel within the continent. I have only traveled outside of Africa once. I have lived my entire life, my entire travels have been in Africa. There is nowhere you go to in Africa, even in the so-called arid region, that the land is not arable enough, provided you can find a means and mechanism of making sure that you get something reasonable out of the land. So why is Africa poor? Why are we hungry? Why is it that we cannot feed ourselves? The very simple reason is the produce the farmers get from the farm, the margins they make, the gross margins, and some other time when we have time, we can divulge into gross margins and gross profits and how to calculate all of those things in business. But I will not go into that now because those are technical terms. But the simple way you can just look at it is, if you sell your goods that you produce or your services for, say, 10 naira, your cost of production, let's say you're a farmer, your cost of production, your I'm not talking of salaries now, the cost of seeds and fertilizer and irrigation, if you have that, and so forth. The entire cost of production minus the amount of your revenue is your gross margin. The moment your gross margin is below, in my experience, the moment your gross margin is below 50%, your business is heading for doom. That's for sure. Because you cannot pay the other things that come down the line. Things like salaries and transport costs and insurance and healthcare, all of those things that come along the line, which will invariably be a cost to the business. And this is another, let me digress at this point. This is another challenge that entrepreneurs in Africa have. Number one, we don't keep our records correctly. Number two, we don't really understand these terms. So if you sell for 100 naira or 100 shillings or 100 sefa or whatever you've sold for, you think that you actually have 100 units of that your currency in your hands. You don't, because for you to continue to produce, you're going to spend money. So the moment you start, you don't actually determine what your cost of production is, and you start to eat into that cost of production, the business is going to collapse. That's why all businesses die. Most businesses, 80%, whatever business dies within the first 2 years. Anyway, I don't want to diverge much into this, but I just want you to understand the top line of it. Now, once you get that, you now begin to understand why farmers in Africa are poor and why our output on the farms are very low. Because they produce, say, a sack of maize in Kenya, for instance, an example. They produce a sack of maize and they sell to government, maybe because government is a primary buyer of maize. They sell to government for, say, 2,000 shillings. It's about 8,000 naira, give and take. Now, when they do that, the middleman, in this case the government, in some other cases not the government, goes ahead and sells to producers like me between 4,000 and 5,000 per bag. You see the challenge. So invariably, the middleman makes a lot of money. His cost of production is next to zero because he's not producing anything. He's just buying and retailing. Now the farmer, on the other hand, is stuck with 2,000 shillings now per bag. He's going to now look at it. Now I've sold my maize. He now has to go and buy certified seeds from the agrovet guy. He needs to buy fertilizers. He needs to buy all of those things. Suddenly he realizes that the cost of producing a 90 sack a bag of maize is 1,500. 75% of the on the entire revenue. So his gross margin to start with is 25%. He has to send his kids. And remember, it has taken him literally the whole year because he's using rain-fed agriculture. So he farms once or twice a year. So it's taking him the whole period to produce that little quantity. And that's why young people, and I don't want to speak in Yoruba, but we say at home that because obviously you don't want to spend your early years, you understand? You don't want to spend your early years doing something that is not productive. You can go and make money as a civil servant or whatever, and then come back and farm as a retirement, because obviously you're just doing it for fun. So our vision was, that's the first problem, the fact that the farmers make so little. The second problem is that so much of what they produce ends up being wasted. I went to school in Ogbomoso during the mango season in Ogbomoso. You can literally smell mango 10 kilometers away, rotting away, because there's so much of it and there's no market absorption. So I sat down with my partner and said, how do we improve this? We don't have the resources to tackle all the problems at once, so let's pick it systematically. So we said, all right, let's pick the smallest, the ones that we can penetrate the market very quickly. So we said, all right, let's start with snacks. So the easiest one in Kenya is bananas. If we have bananas and we can start processing bananas, what can we process bananas to? So we started processing bananas into crisps. Now we are processing peanuts. In the next 2, 3, 4 years, in the next 2 years for sure, we are looking at how to start processing maize. There's so much land that is wasting away that we can see how we can farm it and make sure that within the East African community, we are top 10 food producers in the community. And then invariably, we will also extend that to Nigeria, but that's a separate conversation that we will have at some other time.
Okay, I actually will be coming to that question very soon. Mr. Oluwasegun, it's been nice having you on the show. There's this important question that young entrepreneur or prospective entrepreneur, people that feel I want to go into business, there's this burning question. I know it's burning in their heart. The question of, is it possible to be successful in business without loan? At what point should one go into loan? Is it at the inception? At what point?
Okay, so when we celebrated our 5th anniversary, that was on the 17th. That was like a week ago. That was our 5th anniversary. I took a moment to kind of reflect on where we are and the mistakes that we've made, and I wrote an entire article about it. And this point of loan came up on board because when we left the company I was working for, we had saved some money up, and Kenya has a very nice credit system. It's like cooperative in Nigeria, similar to cooperative in Nigeria, whereby you save some money up and then you can borrow 3 times, 4 times that, 3 times that as a loan. So when we're starting, and we've saved some money. So looking back now, in retrospect, we would have rather taken that money that we had saved and started the business with the little that we had. But instead, we wanted to go in big. We wanted to have a warehouse. You know, we've had a certain standard of life where we're coming from. We didn't want that to drop. You know, so we took a significant loan. We loaned about $100,000 at that point to start. It's a bad idea. I'm going to tell anyone that cares to listen, never start a business, especially when you're starting out, no matter what the business is, even if it's tailor, if it's shoemaker, whatever business, it doesn't matter. Even if you are grinding maize or whatever, no matter what the business is, never start a business with a loan. If you do, this is what is going to happen. You're just going into a business, you don't really understand all of these things that I was discussing about, the margins, the profits, and so forth. So the challenge that you immediately run into is, yes, you've done your forecast, you've projected and said, this is how much I think I can start. You don't know if all of those your projections are going to be correct. Yeah. It's in paper. You know, it's just in paper. You don't know. You're just guessing. So when you start out, then all of a sudden you realize that your projections are not so correct. You have to wait for government to give you permits in some cases. You have to register your business. And the person that you took a loan from does not care. You have to start paying his money from day one. Actually, it's not the end of the month of the first month. It's from the first day. Because if you're supposed to be paying 10 naira back, 10 naira divided by 30, if you miss the first day, you're already in problems. So you have to start saving that money to pay that guy back. If you do not get to pay by the end of the month, then you default. The moment you default, you're already in trouble. In fact, your business the chances of your business surviving is very, very slim. This was a massive mistake that I made. It's something that I will never do again in my life. If there's anybody that is going to business, I will advise them, and this is the critical advice I give to people nowadays: go and work in a similar industry. If you can find a similar industry where you can do that you can get to do a similar work and you have such an experience, then you can take the finances, the savings that you had, no matter how small savings that you have, you start with that little savings. Struggle to death, you and your small money. No matter, just keep struggling, you know. And then the little money that you're making from it, the profits that you're making, if you can starve yourself and suffer and whatever, that little money that you can make from it, you keep investing back into your business. You are not paying loan back. When you stabilize, that you started making significant, well, not you started making 20%, 30% margins, profit, gross profit, you can now say, my profit now is 20 naira. I can now take a loan whose monthly repayment is 15 naira, and I'll still have 5 naira that I'm saving. By the way, this profit is after you've paid yourself, you've paid your rent, you've paid your healthcare, you've paid for everything. I still have 20. Then you can take a loan that can pay 15 a month. If you start with a loan with that one, then it's not going to work. That's why most businesses, two things are the killers of business: inexperience and taking a big loan or taking a significant loan to start business.
Okay. Yes. So, like you have said earlier, you said loan isn't bad in business, but don't take a loan at the inception.
At the beginning,
ALCM, Asset Life Cycle Management, that is your company, your business. You said last week you celebrated 5 years of doing business. What are the challenges? What challenges have you had?
Oh my God. Where do you want me to start from? We've had a lot of challenges. I mean, I don't know. There are so many stories that I can't. But let me just pick. Let me pick three. Number one, you know, I'm a foreigner here. Kenya has been a wonderful host to me and my family. They've given us incredible opportunity as a nation. I will be eternally grateful to this country. I'll probably live in Kenya all my life. I mean, sorry, Nigeria, but the truth is the truth. But it comes with its own challenges. And you know us as Nigerians, you know what we do, what our guys do. Yeah. So there is already a bad perception that comes with your introduction of yourself as Nigerian. So that's the first challenge that you have. when people hear that you're Nigerian, guys are like, oof, okay. So you start from negative. You have to prove yourself that no, I'm not that kind of person. And that's one thing for me as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to always make sure that I consciously make people know that no, not all Nigerians are like that. So that's the first challenge that I had in business, is to have people to believe in me for me, not for what they think about where I come from. The next challenge that we've had was with government. To be very honest, like I said, we had zero experience with what we wanted to do. We had passion, that's all, burning passion, but no experience. So we didn't know how much time it was going to take for us to get government permits and register for, manufacturing. And in Kenya, you cannot just wake up one day like we do at home. So let me speak in Yoruba now. You can't just do that one day. Yeah, you can't do that. So you do that, you'll be in deep trouble. And I'm a foreigner to even make matters worse. So you can't do all of that. So it was difficult at the beginning. So it took some time. So remember, we borrowed money. It took about 3 months for us to get all the permits to start. So we were using that money that we borrowed to pay back our loan at the beginning. So we started burning through the money even before the business even started. So that was the second challenge. For me, the third and I think the most important challenge of all was clients. That was a very big client of ours here. I don't want to mention their name, but they were the first people that we started supplying. And I don't really understand how such a big business of that size can collapse. They were valued at $450 million and they collapsed. So that is a story for another day. I see that Boyes is online. That's a separate conversation that we'll have with Boyes some other day on how it's not only small businesses that collapse, but even big businesses also collapse. So that's a conversation that we'll have as to why do businesses collapse at that size. But that's a separate conversation. So when they went under, because we supplied them on credit, we had supplied a lot of products to them and we never got that money back. So it really set us back. Yeah, so those were the top things. We had a lot of trouble. Even another client of ours, I wrote it in my article that day, as another client of ours that were having trouble at that point because we couldn't afford to pay our rent anymore. So we wanted to move out of that facility. And then this was a senior friend of mine. He came to me and said, oh, can you help me warehouse my assets? And I told you, telecom warehousing is where we started from. So I said, yeah, we can do that. So we had a contract. We had a 5-year contract actually, which was supposed to expire in 2021. That was written in 2016. On the day we were supposed to move in to our facility, yeah, Kemi, big and small business can collapse, correct? That's true. But really, ordinarily, big businesses should not collapse because something is really wrong. So on the day we were supposed to move in, they were supposed to move in and then give us some money so that we can pay our landlord. He changed his mind. And because I'm a small player, I had no lawyer, I had nothing, there was no way to fight. We couldn't do anything. And we had a signed contract, a legally binding. Actually, we still have me and him have a contract till next year. In theory, signed contract, which he never honored. So at this point, we've already given our landlord a posted check that will pay him his rent. And in Kenya, if you give someone a posted check and he banks it and he bounces, it's a criminal offense. It's a criminal offense in Nigeria too. So we were arrested for a night. We went to court. But all in all, thank God, the magistrate said this was a civil dispute. It wasn't warranting such a serious issue. So those are the kind of challenges that have occurred over the last few years. Yeah.
It's a big one. In fact, I hope you did not sleep behind the cells.
We did. I slept on the floor for a night.
Wow.
And the whole night I kept saying that even let me go me soon or the local Kenya. But but all of those things makes you stronger. Yeah. It makes you stronger. It makes you wiser. I can sit across a boardroom with someone, negotiating with him, and from the very first minute, I can know if this is not heading anywhere. Very straight, very easily. So those are things that you don't learn in school. Those are things that you don't learn. You learn over a period of time.
If you're just joining us, the show has been Breaking Limits, a stray in the success story of young entrepreneur. And on the show with me is Mr. Oluwasegun Moyosooreoluwa Balogun, all the way from Kenya. He's a Nigerian, but he's based in Kenya and he has his businesses in Kenya. Those just joining us, I can see Mentor Adekonye Boyega. I can see Flakes, Mentor Flakes. Those are the movers and the shakers of Naija Campus Forum. They've been doing a lot of good things on the platform. Thank you very much for joining us. And others, I can see Adeshina Oluwakemi.
Yeah, she's my
others.
lovely
Thank
sister.
you for joining the show. What will you ascribe your success story to? What do you ascribe your success to?
I don't think I've gotten to a point, and I don't think I'll ever get to a point that I can sit back and say I have achieved success. Not yet. Probably never. Success for me is an ever evolving target. So yeah, we'll continue to pursue it till all my days. But so far so good. I think what has worked for us as a business is our singular focus on our vision. And our vision is to make sure that nothing goes to waste. You can wake me up in the middle of a sleep and I'll tell you in one quick sentence all I'm chasing. And as long as there's a waste anywhere on this continent, then I have not succeeded yet. Any waste of any form, solid waste, farmland waste, young people wasting, wherever there's a waste on this continent, then I have not succeeded yet.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Oluwasegun. With the ease of doing business in Nigeria,
yes,
the present administration is talking about the ease of doing business, the ease of doing business. But we know doing business is more than just the ease of doing business. Do you have a plan to set up business in Nigeria soon?
Okay, so that World Bank metric that they call ease of doing business is actually a wrong terminology. If you read the document, it's not just it's a global metric that they measure. It actually should be called the ease of starting business, because doing business and starting business are two different things. So usually what African nations had always had as a problem was for you to be able to register your business and get permits to be able to start is a very laborious process. So all the reforms that they've been doing now is to make sure that those things are easier to get. Your NAFTA, there's a mutual friend of ours that you know who is trying to start some business now on your side there, and he's been chasing his NAFDAC approval probably now for like 3 years. So those are the kind of things that they are trying to ease when they say that ease of doing doing business, actually ease of starting business. Yes, we will definitely. We've identified 4 hubs across Africa that we are going to be in, and then from there we'll begin to branch out. So yeah, Kenya will be our international headquarters. We'll be in Nigeria for sure. We would have a play in Egypt and in Northern Africa, and then we'll have a play in Malawi in Southern Africa. Strategic reasons for that, separate discussion. Yeah, so we will be in Nigeria. For me, Nigeria is a massive market. This is a conversation that I had with so many friends, including yourself. There are 200 million people in Nigeria. There are many problems, yes, but keep your eyes on the goal. There are 200 million people. The entire East African community, which is about 7 countries, is about 130, 190 million. So that means we as a country, we are bigger than 7 other countries put together. It's a massive market, it's a very massive market. And you should ask yourself, how is it that foreigners come to Nigeria and they do well? And Nigerians in Nigeria say that Nigeria is too difficult a market to operate in. All the biscuits that we eat in Nigeria, all the sweets that we eat in Nigeria, all the snacks and all the food, name it, semovita, whatever, rice, apart from Dangote now, okay, remove Dangote as a, but the chunk of all the other products that we eat is made by who? Foreigners. And they manage to do well. I have a friend of mine that works in one of those nice companies over there. They sell 700,000 cartons of biscuits in 1 month for one brand. 700,000. Now let that sink in for a moment. If their profit is 2 naira, yeah, I mean, if their profit is 2 naira or 40 naira, whatever, on one box, do you know how much that is in a month? That's 28 million monthly. Yeah. So we need to get off our seats and stop complaining about how difficult things are. Of course, not everybody is going to be a business. Kemi that is saying that she's waiting for me is a business person in Lagos. She bottles water. She's doing well. The market is there. The question is twofold. Number one, if we as young people, and we are no longer young now, we are getting old because now all of us are approaching 40. Our mutual Egbon is now 40. I will not mention this name. So if we all sit back and say that things are too difficult and I'm not going to make any move. There's no easy place. So there's difficulty everywhere. We just need to make sure that we get our acts together, understand how businesses are run, and get going.
Okay. So what will be your advice to youths in Nigeria, students, youth, and prospective business owners, people who want to go into business?
Let me first say hi to my friend Martin. Hi Martin, thanks for joining. Prospective business people in Nigeria, get experience. For God's sakes, get experience. Go and learn the job. Make sure you understand the business you want to get into first. Save little money that you can save. Do not borrow. Understand the law, tax law especially. Tax law. You know, the other day we were having a conversation on social media, on social commentaries, after page, and I was having this whole discussion with IBK. It's a boring conversation to have when you talk about tax law and how people are saving money and so forth. It's a boring conversation to have. But if you are going to do business and do successfully, you need to understand. You need to understand tax law. The business, the law of the land, anywhere you go in the world, supports business people more than working class people. And I say that respectfully, I don't mean any disrespect. Because the law imagines that you have used your money to invest to create jobs. So for instance, and I'm telling you the God honest truth, the salary is that a director of a company collects, and in this case it will be called director's earnings on a monthly basis, is taxed only half of what the nominal tax rate of employed people are. So if you start a business by law, and I think it's the same in Nigeria, but at least for here, I know for sure here in Kenya, your employees will be paying, in some cases, depending on how much they earn, they'll be paying 30% of their salary as tax, nominal rate, 28-30%. The director will be paying 12 to 15% as taxes. Yeah, because the law envisages that. The law also envisages that you are investing in, machinery and equipment and so forth. So they obviously give you depreciation, which you can remove out of your gross profit against your taxation. So all of those things are there. You need to understand that thing. If you do not understand, when you are planning, you are starting out to plan, you will not plan properly. And if you don't plan properly, you know what they say. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Straightforward. So for me, those are the key things. Learn the job, make sure you have proper experience before you start. Save your own money, don't borrow. This one I cannot shout enough. Save your own money. Do not take a loan. So don't be going about saying that there is no capital. People are not. If you have to borrow from your mother, your father, or your relatives. Don't borrow from a loan shark. Don't borrow from a bank. Understand the law. If you have to get a lawyer, if you have to whatever, just make sure that those key three things are your top guiding principles. I see that there's a question here, Humble.
Yes, I think we have a question. I can't get the question. What happens?
No, it says, as a young man or woman, if you happen to save some good cash, what is a good cash? and you can start in business. Hiya. Okay, wait. This is the question. As a young man or woman, if you happen to have some good cash and you can start invest in a business that you don't have the knowledge, let's say you bring the people that have the know-how. Okay, I think the question, I think it's a lady. This lady is asking, or is it a lady or a gentleman? I don't know. But I'm sorry, I can't really see clearly. The question here is that if you don't know about the business, but you have the money, can you bring professionals in to help you run your business? In theory, yes. In theory, yes. But practically, like they say here in Kenya, it will end in tears. I can tell you for free, especially in this continent of ours. And I can give you examples upon examples. A friend of mine reached out to me on Sunday after I wrote that article, and he was sharing the experience of his uncle who used to live in the UK. He still lives in the UK till now. He took a loan, put his house on mortgage, and then came to start a business because they told him that there's a certain business in Nigeria that is bringing money, that within 2 or 3 years, whatever he brings, in fact, the more he brings, if he can bring like £1 million in 2 years, you'll have collected your money, you go back, you'll be fine. So he brought the money to Nigeria and hired people who are supposed to know about the business. Till now, that man is still paying that debt now. He has gone back, but he's still paying that debt. The business has collapsed. I would say, and it's my own personal advice, make sure that you know something about the business. Make sure you know how the business runs. Make sure you know where people sell. If it's a goods that you are producing, say, let's use Kemi as I hope Kemi is still online. Let's use Kemi as an example. Kemi is making water. Know where people sell that water. Don't assume that you know where. We want Aldo, Mama Risi magba bag omi mẹ́wàá lọ́wọ́ mi. Ìyá Korede magba bag omi márùn lọ́wọ́ mi. Ginigo. And then you think that that's how the business runs. You will that Yarisi will not take one sachet of the pure water from you. So you need to understand, how does this business run? Are there wholesalers that are being used? Are there distributors that are being used? How is the water produced? Where do you source your water from? Where do you source your machines from? Where do you source your consumables from? All of those things you need to know. If you say you don't know and you bring somebody else, except you pray to God that you find honest people. If not, all that good cash, no matter what the good cash is, all that good cash should be gone so quickly. I had lost you for
I know you're a very busy man, but
a moment, but I think I found it.
Out of your tight schedule, you've taken out time to on this show. Thank you for those experiences shared. I know a lot of people have gained from what you have said so far. Don't borrow to start business. And those challenges and a lot of things that you've said today, it will be very helpful to young ones in Nigeria and even outside the shores of Nigeria. Let me congratulate ALCM for celebrating 5 years in business. And I want to say ALCM will live forever.
Amen.
Even in the next 100, 200 years, when the owners are no more, ALCM will still continue because they will have generations to keep it on.
Amen.
Thank you for your time. The show has been Breaking Limits on Naija Campus TV, the Instagram page of Naija Campus Forum. For those that have joined us on the show, thank you for your time. Mr. Oluwasegun, thank you very much for your time. I hope next time when you are called upon to join any of our show, you will gladly do.
I will, with all joy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You very much.
Thanks, Humble. Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. God bless.
Thank you very much. Yes, Nigerians, students, and everyone across the world, anything that you want to do, just have it at the back of your mind that you will succeed. It requires persistence. It requires consistency. It requires perseverance. Regardless of the challenges, you will succeed. Mr. Oluwasegun said he counted a lot of challenges that he has faced in the last 5 years. And